News Mornings. New developments in Mesa County. There are now even more legal troubles for County Clerk Tina Peters. What lies ahead for her after the judge's ruling? Why not try Granby for the next vacation? The Moffett Railroad Museum has a larger-than-life display and several new attractions the whole family can enjoy. Walk, bike, and of course in Colorado, you can tube to work. We're live in Boulder to see all the commuters taking a ride on the water to the office today.
I love Tube to Work Day. So much fun. Heads up for those traveling through the Central 70 project this weekend. Today, CDOT is closing I-70's eastbound lanes in the heart of Denver. That's between Washington Street and I-270. The closure will start at 10 o'clock tonight, and then it's going to run all the way until 5 a.m. on Monday morning. This gives crews the chance to prepare the road for the first of 2 traffic shifts that will be happening there. You can read more about those plans on our website at 9news.com. Of course, Erica's keeping an eye on that and any other problems that pop up on your Friday morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Corey. Yeah, and we know we've had a couple of those full weekend closures already. They've gone pretty smoothly, but just something to be aware of course, going into the weekend, since we know it's a busy stretch. Where we're looking right now is I-70 and Steel Street, where we're not dealing with any problems just yet this morning. And the big picture here of our map is reflecting the same thing, just a quiet start to the Friday morning commute. No problems to report on either side of 225 right now between I-70 and I-25. Just a 10-minute travel time for you there. Both sides of 270 in the green. Your drive between I-70 and I-25 and that westbound side, a quick 6 minutes. Traveling into Commerce City right now, no problems. 10 minutes for your drive in on westbound 76 from E470 and out here on I-70 right now. Again, no issues just yet. That's going to change at 10 o'clock tonight. But for now, a quick 7-minute travel time between I-25 and 225.
And thank you, Erica. Another hot day coming our way. You can see just a few clouds here as the sun begins to come up. 67 degrees, so we're mild again this morning. And we do have an excessive rainfall possible today over portions of the northern mountains. A flash flood watch goes about all day long from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. We will see those showers and thunderstorms already rotating into the area. Little lightning strikes this morning. That will continue today. Then we see them move out onto the eastern plains into northeastern Colorado during the nighttime hours, and then they kind of leave. Tomorrow, I think they're mostly to the south, showers and thunderstorms across the area. So today, 94 degrees, maybe a scattered late storm. Only isolated tomorrow, 93 degrees. Now we start to warm it up with more sunshine. No storms to help you out here. 98 degrees on Sunday. Look at your Monday. Start next week at 100 degrees.
Wow, triple digits. All right, Ed, thank you. Today, a hearing is scheduled for Republican Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters regarding an arrest warrant.
She's been out on bond for her criminal case involving felony charges for tampering with election equipment, but she left the state when she was not supposed to. 9 News reporter John Glasgow joins us in the studio. And John, what is the latest here?
Well, a warrant is out for her arrest for attending a conference in Vegas. Peters is supposed to notify the court if she plans to leave the state. In this case, that didn't happen. Instead, she went to Sin City for a conference for the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. Basically, they believe the Constitution gives them more power than the president. She spoke at the conference on Tuesday and showed off a letter to the crowd. The letter requested a recount in her Republican primary for Secretary of State, a race that she lost by 88,000 votes. Peters told the crowd that she was going to get the letter notarized and then send it off to the Secretary of State's office. That's how the Mesa County's Republican DA found out that Peters had left Colorado without permission when her signed letter was notarized in Nevada. Now, Mesa County's Republican DA asked a judge to revoke her bond. Peters' attorney says that he blames himself for the issue and wants the judge to drop the arrest warrant. He told the judge that Peters sent him an email to him and 3 other attorneys 1 week ago, but they did not notice that she had detailed her Vegas travel plans, so they failed to notify the court. Her attorneys are asking the arrest warrant to be tossed if Peters shows up to the hearing today. It's scheduled for 3:30 this afternoon. Peters also has an arraignment hearing in August. Natasha?
John, thank you. Sandra Brown, who's tied to the same election tampering investigation, turned herself in this week, and she faces charges of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation and attempting to influence a public servant. Now, Brown was an elections manager in Mesa County.
Peters is not the only election denier seeking a recount for a lost primary. Former Republican U.S. Senate candidate Ron Hanks also demanded a recount from the Secretary of State. These races were not close. He lost to Joe O'Dea by 56,000 votes. Both Hanks and Peters have asked the Secretary of State to estimate the cost of a recount, but neither wrote in their letters that they would pay for one. That's how it works unless a race is very close. If you get smoked but still want a recount, you have to foot the bill yourself.
We've got an update on a carjacking case that was reported over the weekend. Brighton police announcing charges for a man who they say stole the car with 2 kids inside in Commerce City. Raul Ortega faces kidnapping, car theft, child abuse, and robbery charges. So this happened Saturday morning on East 140th in Commerce City. Police say someone went into a store and left their car running and unlocked with 2 children inside, a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old. They say Ortega came out of that store, got into the car. Before he could drive off, the 10-year-old managed to get out. Police stopped the car on North 7th Avenue in Brighton. The baby was fine. Ortega was arrested. He's expected in court in August.
Next week, it will have been 10 years since the Aurora Theater shooting. Since then, each family has found different ways to find meaning and community as the date approaches. The family of A.J. Boyk has brewed a beer in remembrance of him this year. A.J.'s Haze flowed out of the taps at 6 Capitol Brewing last night. His mother told us she hopes the beer sparks conversations and memories of A.J.
Every year I try to do a little bit to try and grow out of the pain, but this is really one of those big steps that brings something good into the darkness.
It's hard to believe it's been 10 years. Now proceeds from the beer go to the 720 Foundation, which continues to help victims of the shooting.
The state of Colorado is trying to get more people into the workforce by promising not to consider out-of-state marijuana convictions when people apply for professional licenses. Democratic Governor Jared Polis has issued an executive order saying no one should be denied a professional license in Colorado if they got in trouble for consuming, possessing, or growing marijuana in a state where it's not legal. The order also directs state agencies not to cooperate with other states' marijuana investigations that deal with actions that are legal here in Colorado.
Early in the pandemic, people in Colorado stocked up on marijuana like it was toilet paper. Now sales are slowing down. Sales peaked in July of 2020 at more than $226 million. In May, total marijuana sales were around $148 million. The marijuana industry group says not only are businesses struggling, but soon state and local budgets will see the impact.
A drop in sales of 13 months is not a trend, it's a reality. This is where we're at now. And for the city, that means between a 20 and 25% cut to important services such as affordable housing and homelessness prevention.
Denver's marijuana tax revenue accounts for about 5% of the city's general fund. The city's latest data does show that revenue is rising year to year, which is why Denver's excise and licensing department told us they aren't panicking. They say they expected the lower sales after the peak during the pandemic.
Right now, almost 79% of all Coloradans have received at least their first dose of a vaccine. Now, that number drops to 70% when you're looking at people who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Only 54% of Coloradans have gotten their booster shots at this point.
Colorado's Latino population is still far behind other races and ethnicities when it comes to getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
9 News reporter Luis De Leon shows us the ongoing efforts to bump that number up.
Health centers can be a safe space, especially when the people there understand one's background.
75% of our patients prefer their services in Spanish, and about 95% of our patients identify as Hispanic Latino.
Dr. Pamela Valenza is Chief Health Officer at Globeville-based Tepeyac Community Health Center. With the state health department's help, they're still holding COVID-19 vaccination clinics geared towards Spanish speakers. It was a weekly thing.
And so we have pushed that mobile vaccine bus back to just once a month since we did see those numbers start to trickle down.
Just 41 people got the vaccine at their last clinic. Latest numbers from Denver's Department of Public Health and Environment show 45.2% of Hispanic people 5 and older in Denver County are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That's compared to 80.5% of white non-Hispanic people. Valenza says hesitancy is still an issue, but the jobs that their patients work can sometimes be a barrier.
When a patient has the choice of going to work and getting the income from that day or missing that work for the vaccine, the large majority of patients who I see who are declining the vaccine are ones who say, no, I can't miss work.
But their efforts to reach them continue.
We've had our teams out talking to community members at health fairs, at local nonprofit organizations, at the supermarket.
Sí, y tienen un número directo.
Understanding the changing views towards the vaccine, she says, is key.
Because the feeling right now might be very different than when we were doing these community surveys 6-8 months ago.
Gracias, hasta luego.
Adelante Community Development, a nonprofit in Commerce City, is continuing to host weekly vaccination clinics at the Mile High Flea Market. Right now, they say they have 10 mobile vaccination units. The state health department says Colorado does not require government-issued ID or documentation to get a COVID-19 vaccine.